excited to introduce a good friend of mine. His name is Justin Lawrence. He comes all the way from Oklahoma, which we all know from that great play that we were in high school.
Sing it for us. Ready? No.
1, 2, 3. All right. So Justin's going to talk to us a little bit about social media. I'm just going to sit next to him so he feels comfortable, and I might chime in from time to time when I want to.
Well, you talked about social media this morning, didn't you?
I did.
What was the high point?
Ooh, I don't think there was a high point.
TLDR. That means too long, didn't read. Give us a tip from your class.
I didn't have any tips.
Okay, so in kitchen. Hi, my name's Justin. Hey, Brett's a friend of mine. Tom's a friend of mine. Rick's a friend of mine. Thanks for having me here. This is cool. So social media. Have you heard of it? Okay. This is going to be great. This is going to be super high yield for those of you that have never heard of social media. Hey, if you're not doing it, you should be doing it. If you're doing it a little bit, you should do it more. And if you're doing it a lot, you should keep doing it a lot, and you should do it even more. So the idea being that your brand, I'm a screen printer, Brett's a screen printer. I don't know what you guys, are you guys screen printers? Like brokers, or what else are you if you're not a screen printer? Embroidery? Okay, yeah, embroidery, cool. But you're here promoting your own brand. What'd you say? Awesome. That's super cool.
How many people do rhinestones?
Oh, it's a rhinestone cowboy. I worked that up for our rhinestone. Normally the rhinestones have a good showing here.
So Ryonet used to sell these.
Rhinestones.
They used to sell this rhinestone kit called Bling It.
Okay.
And I was looking at Ryan one day. I was like, why did you not call it rhinestones?
For real.
No one calls me for marketing tips.
If you need marketing tips, call Brett. He's full of them. So, social media, you're here, you're interested in promoting your own brand. The traditional channels that everyone's using mostly should be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I haven't figured out how to market on, are you on TikTok yet?
No.
TikTok's pretty sweet. I like to just consume TikTok. Seth, do you use TikTok? He's starting to use TikTok. TikTok's cool. But yeah, so social media, I would love to, if you have questions or if you have concerns or if there's things you want to chat about, like we're only going to be here for about 2.5 hours is how long the session goes. So please don't get up in the middle and be rude. But if you have questions, then we can go. I have things I can talk about. I can talk about what we've done at Oklahoma Shirt Company. We've had a little bit of success with our social media. But really that just comes to find, things that you guys have heard, finding your target demographic, what is it that your product that you're selling, and figuring out how to actively market to people who want to buy your stuff. And so we can talk about those things, or we can talk about new things. Does anyone have anything that's a hot pressing? Yes, ma'am, go. Hey, you know what? For that, VIP bracelet to the Ruckus tonight that you get. I only have 73 more of these.
Good catch.
So we might run out. What do you got? What's your name and where are you from? Yep.
Karen from San Fernando Valley. Let's give it up for Karen, everyone.
Karen. Karen, woo! It's her birthday, too.
We should all care a little bit, so we thank you for Karen.
Okay. That's good. So Karen's wondering, when she makes a marketing piece and then she has a call to action button or something that she's asking the customer to do, she feels like that's getting buried even within her own tribe or the people who follow her. What can you do to make it stand out even more? Is that the question? What are you trying to sell something? Are you trying to raise awareness? Are you trying to get someone to sign up? Or what are you trying to do? Are you spending money? Yeah. So that's one of the unfortunate things, as you get into, especially as these social media platforms become more and more established, and there's tons of articles on this. But Facebook is a good example. You create a free event, maybe your relatives are going to hear about it, right? It's just going to get buried and buried and buried, and you have to get really specific about your advertising. And so what I would say is, like, if you're putting on an event, you need to associate a marketing value dollar to that. And don't be afraid, try. Like, so what was fun with us, and this is very, very different, but like how we, with Facebook early on, I realized it was like a slot machine, the more money I put into it. And so for us, that call to action was a subscription. We started a shirt of the month product that we wanted people to subscribe to. And so we would put our advertising out there, and then not much would happen. And then I'd say, what happens if I boost this? Which it used to be really easy. You would just boost it and say, how much money do you want to boost in it? And we'd say $50. And then like 2 hours later, they would say, you have 10 new subscriptions. And I would be like, okay, this is funny. So let's put $200 in. 2 hours later, you would have 50 subscriptions. Let's see what $1,000 does. Okay, here's 500 subscriptions. Let's see what $10,000. So we found ourselves, like at our peak in advertising with Facebook, we were spending $10,000 to $15,000 a month just on direct marketed advertising for our shirt of the month product. And it's witchcraft. I don't understand how it works. Like, it's like the more money you put in, the more stuff comes out, which normally doesn't seem like that should be the thing, but pay to play. So start small. What's cool is now they expect everybody to spend money, and they make it really easy for everyone to spend money. So what I would tell you, you need to spend, if you have an event that's worth putting on, it's worth you pulling $50 out of your back pocket and really dialing down. So for us, like this is awful. We discovered that like our target demographic for Oklahoma Shirt of the Month.
Do you want to whisper in my ear and I'll tell you if it's appropriate?
It was overweight soccer moms. And like we found that if we targeted these very specific things, then we would get a really good response out of it. So the more specific you can be, and try it. So like if you're selling like, I don't know, frog gigs, you got custom branded frog gig, like you stab frogs with, you go frog hunting, make frog legs. Don't, you're from Texas, you know what this is, yeah. Spear fishing or whatever it is you're selling, try super, super niche with not a lot of money and see if you get a response. It's called testing. So you test, have your thing, instead of maybe spending $50, run 3 targeted ads for $15 each at really specific niches and see what happens.
I would say to that note, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, specifically those 2 platforms, Facebook owns Instagram, obviously, it is pay to play, 100%. We have, 17 or 18,000 people following us on Instagram, but 18,000 people don't see our picture, right? And we've actually found as we've grown, it almost feels like less people see it, and I think it's almost a thing that Facebook is saying, like, okay, we know you're big enough now, you need to pay us. That's fun.
It's a tornado siren.
Oh.
Where I'm from, it's not.
We have to run.
Hit the deck! Yeah. He said so he made a shirt for hunters, put it on Facebook, put some money behind it, saw it for a couple of days, and then just didn't see it anymore. Did they pull it down? No, they didn't pull it down. They just stopped putting it in front of people, and when you set those ranges for things, I feel like sometimes they try to have your back, like they're not going to reserve the same ad to you 2 or 3 times. So, if you put advertising dollars into something and you don't see your own ad served to you, well, that's just, you're lucky that wasn't the 35 cents they decided to put that in somebody else's feed other than yours. But you should still see it in your feed, or you should still see it in your business page, but it shouldn't be taken down unless it was flagged for inappropriate hunter content. Was there like a gnarly ass deer skull with blood dripping off of it or something? Oh, okay.
Was the deer wearing clothes?
Oh, was he buck naked? Oh. I'll be here for 5 more minutes. Butt ass naked. There you go. VIP. Are these VIP? What do these do? They get you in?
I have no idea what they do.
Sugar Ray will autograph that for you. I'm pretty sure that's what that does. Make sure you see it. Mark McGrath. Yes, ma'am.
How do you keep Facebook from flagging the community that said, like, I'm killing it today?
Yeah, Facebook, she asked, how do you keep your stuff from getting flagged for inappropriate content, or even, so they have really rich tools in their advertising platform. So one of the things that we get on, we want to put a lot of text in ours because we have lots to talk about. And their Instagram and Facebook will also show you priority, and they'll want to send your stuff to the top if it's only a picture. Like the best form of advertising in Facebook and Instagram's mind is a picture with no text, which sometimes you'll get in trouble if you're selling a t-shirt, you know, that has text on it, and you have to say, hey, it's part of the art, it's not text. But they're looking for less than 15% of your text. And so that's what, I mean, don't say anything silly or you'll get flagged, but we try to not put a lot of text on our advertisements, that we try to, yeah, ma'am.
So we can convert the text to curves. Does Facebook recognize it?
Yes, if you convert your text to curves, yes, they will still recognize it as text. Even weird fonts. You're a Bleeding Cowboy, Brett's favorite font, still text.
It's right up there with Papyrus.
The font of our Lord.
Okay. All right. Different platforms. What is a platform that's kind of the most exciting to you?
Yeah, well, we have found in the t-shirt, you know, we're trying to sell something. So I haven't figured out how to make any money on Snapchat. I haven't figured out how to do anything with TikTok yet. We're kind of all in on Instagram and Facebook. And then SEO, the ugly, like, older brother that nobody really wants to talk about. Google Ads, SEO, that's where we're trying to, you know, and for us, like, what we're trying to actively market right now is our custom screen printing, and not necessarily a direct retail product, but how can we get in front of all of the people that we're trying to be in front of that are decision makers for their businesses or are influencers in their businesses. So yeah, our little, like, my social media tip, I believe, and you can test this, I don't know if it's real or not, but I think that every person, as far as like embroidery and screen printing goes, I think that every person that's, you know, working or professional or, you know, isn't just living outside in the streets, I believe that every person once or twice a year has the opportunity to directly buy or influence someone to buy t-shirts. And so I want to make sure that, at least in Oklahoma, that we're putting ourselves in front of people, that so that the 1 or 2 times a year when it comes for them to buy t-shirts, that, you know, we're at least in the number 3 on their list. You know, there might be 2 other screen printers or embroiderers or decorators they think of, but I want to make sure that Oklahoma Shirt Company is in their top 3. So that's a targeted marketing.
How are you finding that person? Who is the person that is going to buy t-shirts?
That's a good question. I borrow from Nike's wisdom. They talk about their, like, advertising efforts, and they say only 50% of our marketing works. The problem is we don't know which 50% of that marketing works. And so for us, it's easy. We haven't raised our sights yet to be like a nationwide screen printer or any of that. We're just trying to serve Oklahoma really well and develop relationships with churches, schools, businesses, nonprofits there. And so we're trying targeted direct mail pieces, we're trying MailChimp pieces, we're trying advertising to just shotgun approach, to just be on people's radar, which isn't super specific. You certainly have a lot more success when you say, hey, I want to sell one t-shirt, 4 hunters, and it's this one. What kind of results can we get out of our ad spend? So it's for us, it's a shotgun approach right now.
So for your, like, Instagram, Facebook that you're mainly focusing on, what amount or maybe what percentage of what you're doing is video versus just a picture?
That's a great point. So video content is king. And you've heard anybody on social media talk about, like, you know, the technology that we all have in our pockets. My phone's back there. It's not. Oh, Quint's got it because he's making content. You should be using video. You know, video's sticky. People want to see video. When you're scrolling through your feed, for whatever reason, it causes people to pause and stop just a little bit more. The extra cool thing, if you want to spend a little bit more time, and if you're making rich content, you need to be putting subtitles into your videos. So if you're a talking head and you're, hey, I'm Justin with Oklahoma Shirt Company. I got this mossy oak shirt that's got a buck naked apparel on it, and you can't. Because most of the time when we're consuming video on our phones, you have the volume muted, right? Or you're in the bathroom and you don't want anybody to hear you, and you're just like, or you got your headphones in. But the subtitles is a big deal you need to be doing. But content, you know, you're going to find, like what we were speaking to with Facebook and Instagram, they're going to even elevate your videos even higher above pictures. So video content, the most desired content, and then behind that, just static pictures, not a lot of text.
Do you use any strategy when it comes to posting in your gallery wall versus posting stories?
Yeah, so that's something we're talking through right now. You know, depending on your target demographic, this doesn't directly answer your question, but you know, time of day when you post your content and what it does. But there's also a neat balance between Facebook and Instagram and using your stories, you know, which are quick. You know, stories should be your culture, should be things that like you want people to see behind the scenes, what's going on with you and your business. Let them get to know you, because it's such a short snippet into your life that may or may not be consumed and will disappear after 24 hours. Whereas in your feed, you know, that's kind of that's your wall of fame. You know, you want that to be curated. You want it to be rich, because if you have a prospective client or someone who's going to come in and check you out, they're not going to have the opportunity to look at your stories. They're going to look and scroll through, you know, 3 finger swipes and see 26 pictures. And it better make sense. It better be compelling. It better tell a story. It needs to want to invite them into your world and say, why do I want to work with this company? Or why do I want to learn more about Brett, or what are the things that he cares about, or that he's fighting for? And then let your stories be that thing that's a little more, you know, loose around the edges. But you should be making lots of story content, because that's probably, you think about your own habits, you know, how you consume social media. That's probably what I'm looking at most of the time. I'll go through my stories first, see what's going on, and then if I run out of stories, then I'll go to my feed. What about you? Is that your experience?
Yeah, I actually, I really like stories because I think they're a lot more authentic and real. I think a lot of the content that's being curated for the actual gallery wall is something that's been really thought out, versus when you're just hanging out with your friends and you're doing something funny and you post a story, it's more like real. So I really enjoy that. And I do feel like in my life, if I'm looking at Instagram, I go through my stories first as well. So as a company, having your stories out there is important so that people are still seeing you. And a lot of times you're more visible on the stories than you are on the gallery wall, because as we said earlier, that 18,000 people aren't seeing your gallery picture there, but your story will always be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in regard to that story, what is TLDR on that story? I mean, you can have how long of a story?
Yeah, so the stories, he asks, what's the TLDR on stories? Right, the stories is just a little video snippet that usually is about a 10 or 15 second video that you're just quickly taking a picture or something really quick that you're showing. I don't know if that's specifically what you're asking, but yeah, don't be an asshole in your feed, right? Like, sorry. Yeah, don't be that guy that bleep. Oh, got it. It's the delay for the television. Don't hijack people's feeds. Sometimes you do it, but you want a 5, 10, 3 seconds something, not a 4-minute like, ooh, I'm gonna put this whole shop talk on my story. Because when someone pops up in your story feed and you see 16,000 little dashes, you're just like, and right swipe. Not because we want to go on a date, but
yeah, there's actually some research that's gone into that, and 5 to 7 apparently is the number of stories you want to have at any given time. Any more than that, people just move on. It's kind of a weird psychology thing.
Okay, are the stories written stories, they're text, or are they videos?
yeah, so both. So your story is just snippets. So it's a quick picture, or it's a quick video, or it's a quick you could add text to it if you want to describe something.
How long do they stay up?
24 hours.
24 hours for what?
So yeah, stories stay up for 24 hours and then they just disappear. So that's kind of something that's a little bit cool about it, is it's for right now and that's it.
Yeah.
Anybody here doing something successful with their social media that they'd like to share? This guy, what's your name? Dave. Where are you from, Dave? Dave's from Boston. So he wants to know a story about money not well spent.
There's a friend of ours, friend of some. He had this idea where he was trying to rig Instagram advertisements. So the idea, or Shopify or Facebook, the idea being, I have this product, and I'm going to tell Facebook that I'm going to sell. We're going to sell wristbands. Okay, I'm going to sell these wristbands on Facebook. I think a lot of people are really going to like them. I'm going to take $20,000 and put it behind this spend, and I'm going to let it run for 36 hours. And Facebook's going to get really, really excited, and they're going to blast all your stuff out to the masses. And then in the first hour or the first 30 minutes, if you start seeing transactions, people buying the shirt, then you let it ride. If people aren't buying the stuff, then you quickly take the ad down, but you got to be out in front of the masses for a small amount of time to test your product. That sounds like a good idea, right? So I did it. Oh yeah, it was good. We made a shirt for Mother's Day in Oklahoma. We all love mothers. We all love Oklahoma, so like it said Oklahoma, M-A, real big. Like, oh, this is brilliant. This is gonna crush. Oh boy, so I felt really confident about it. I pumped in $5,000 behind it. I was gonna let it run for 24 hours, and then I forgot. And so like I set it and then I got distracted, and basically what happened was I set the ad to run, and then I wasn't monitoring it. Like I monitored it for like the first 15 or 20 minutes. I think we sold like 80 shirts, and it was not a good marketing effort. So that was a lesson in maybe the trick works. I haven't done it since. I probably won't do it again. If you try it, tight. Tell me all about it. I would love to hear how it goes. So that was super dumb.
We've never done anything that crazy or risky. I don't know. I own a company called Printed Threads. You can follow us on Instagram stuff. I actually don't do anything social media related at the company. I do the business part mostly. Sometimes I print shirts. But Seth, who's sitting in the back couch there, he runs our social media. And Seth, have we done anything stupid? Yeah, I don't know what Facebook has it out for us. They disable our ad account constantly. Uncheck the box when you're setting up an ad. Uncheck the box that says Facebook audience. Interesting.
We've gotten in trouble with cease and desist. We used to try to like make stuff for our local sports team before we were making stuff for them, and you got to be careful with that because it'll get you shut down real quick with cease and desist letters, and quit printing illegal things.
I think, to Justin's point earlier about like just pushing a whole bunch of money into something, if you have something that you think is good, like people are going to want this, spend $50
For real.
and see how much attention it gains. And if it gains a lot of attention, then put $5,000 in or whatever you're going to do. But like dipping your toes in before you jump full on in, is probably advisable.
And don't fall guilty to just like doing something for the sake of doing it. Like make sure that if you're going to spend marketing dollars, especially on your social media channels, that you have a really, really direct measurable. I want to gain more followers. I want to earn business specifically from like electrical contractors. I want to be out in front of this business, And so if you're specifically like, there's a big Fortune 500 company in your small town or your hometown that, you can serve ads directly to their marketing department with some clever like digging. And so just make sure whatever it is that you spend money on, like that you're really making sure that you're going to get your bang out of a buck for it. Yeah, Eric.
At what time did you decide to have an Instagram manager?
So when did we decide to have an Instagram manager? So here's the deal. I'm really bad at taking pictures. I can't do it. Like, it's not that I can't click the button, I just can't make it look good or look like it was taken on purpose, right? And so I've never been good at it, and several years ago we hired friends to come in and just like shoot pictures and videos for us like once a month. And so we'd pay him like $1,000 a month or whatever it was, and he would come in and do all that stuff just one day and deliver us the content, and then we would give it to like a content manager to post for us. But Seth's worked for us. He's employee number one at Printed Threads, and so he knows our culture really well. He knows everything about us. He knows our DNA. And so at the time that we were able to afford putting a little bit more money into that role, it was like, okay, Seth, take this on. You can do this better than a content manager or anybody else because you know who we are and what we're trying to get across to people.
I would say, as a company who does branding and marketing, if you're a screen printer or an embroiderer, then people are counting on you to be a professional for them. Like, if you can't do it yourself and if you can't do it well, I don't care how big your business is. Like, if your business is a business that's worth doing, you should hire someone to do it, no matter how big or small you are. If you can't consistently do it yourself. And that, at the end of the day, it's about consistency. You know, if you run a really slick marketing campaign for 2 months and you gain a bunch of followers or you gain a bunch of interest in your town and then you just disappear after that, you're not doing anybody any service. So make sure that, it is something that it's a cost of doing business today. In the day and age that we are, if you're not present on social and actively investing, it's just as important, if not more important, than the Chamber of Commerce meetings you're going to and the networking events that you're going to. It's where everybody's at, and you got to meet your customers where they're at the end of the day. Quint? That's a good, so Quint brought up, do you have anything to say about giveaways, or when are we supposed to stop?
Right now, but just go ahead and answer the
Okay,
question.
so really a thing, people also are going to use your social media profile as a way to vet you, as a legitimacy of your business. So they're going to go to your Google reviews to see how many you have. They're going to go to your Instagram. You know, if I look up Printed Threads and they have 18,000 followers, but then they have 6 Google reviews, something's not right. Right? There needs to be some sort of balance. So people are going to use that as a way to vet you. So using your social media platform as a channel to gain followers or to gain trust, more importantly, with the people that you're going to do business with, is a really important thing.
That's fantastic. Well, thanks a lot, Justin. Everybody give Justin a hand. He deserves it.